Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
What's going on, everybody? It is Thrive Thursday. Yes, we are one day removed from the weekend, and I am excited. But you know what? We still got to keep our foot on the gas because it's not Friday. We have to keep our foot on the gas. We are going to make it to the end of the week, and we're going to make it strong. And again, I know we've been going through some things. A lot of y'all might not have been going through some things, but for the people who just felt like this week was just rough, you couldn't get through it, and you are still here, I celebrate you. And I just want to say good afternoon and welcome to the Afternoon Praise. You know who I am. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. But this week, we have been discussing a powerful theme. What you do next matters. See, on Monday, we learned that wisdom is execution power. On Tuesday, we learned that your delay has a price tag. And on Wednesday, yesterday, Build a Brand Wednesday, we learned that what you build is speaking for you. And today, people, I'm not letting my foot off the gas. We are going to go hard. Today, we are going somewhere different. Today is not about what you are building. Today is about what might be slowing down what you are trying to build. Yes. See, today's question is simple. Are you the bottleneck? I want you to look in the mirror. I want you to touch yourself. You know how they do in church? Put your hands on yourself. Look in the mirror. Are you the bottleneck? See, most people blame external factors. We blame the economy, we blame our competition, or we might blame the market. Some of us, we might blame the lack of resources or the lack of opportunity. But if the greatest obstacle to your next level isn't outside of you, what if it was inside of you? Yes, not outside of you, but what if it was inside of you? What if the thing that helped you get where you are now is preventing you from getting you there? Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and today is going to be very impactful like every other day. Go tell somebody to tune in and listen to the show here on Wayvve Radio.
Join us on this heavenly journey, one song at a time, Wayvve Radio.
Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and today's show is, Are You the Bottleneck? Yes, it is Thrive Thursday, and I'm helping you thrive. But we got to ask ourselves this question. Are we the bottleneck to our next level? See, growth changes the rules. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that strategy that created today's success will automatically create tomorrow's success. That's not true, people. It won't. Growth changes the rules. See, the habits that help you survive may not help you scale. The mindset that helped you start may not help you lead. See, the work ethics that help you build may not help you multiply. Growth requires evolution. And every new level introduces new demands. See, what worked when you had 5 customers may not work when you have 500 customers, people. What worked when your ministry served 20 people may not work when it served 2,000 people. See, growth exposes limitations that success can temporarily hide. I'm going to say that again. Growth exposes limitations that success can temporarily hide. That is why thriving leaders constantly elevate themselves. Because sometimes the thing slowing growth is not the system, it's the person operating the system. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
You're riding the waves of faith and grace on Wayvve Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise here on Wayvve Radio, and we are talking about Are You The Bottleneck on this Thrive Thursday. See, let's go back. Let's talk about Moses. See, Moses was not failing. See, Moses was doing too much. Moses was trying to be everything to everybody. See, this is what makes Exodus 18 so powerful. Moses was not failing people. Moses was working, he was serving, he was helping people, he was committed. See, from the outside, Moses looked successful. But yet, his father-in-law, Jethro, looked at the situation and said something remarkable. The things that thou doest is not good. Just imagine hearing that when you think you are at your epic point. See, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing too much. See, many leaders think exhaustion is evidence of commitment. It isn't. It's evidence of lack of a system. See, exhaustion is often evidence of a system that can no longer support growth. Moses was not failing because he lacked passion. Moses was failing because he was carrying what was never meant to be carried alone. Let that sink in, people. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.
This is Thrive Thursday, and you tuned in to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, aka the Business Point Guard. Let's talk about success can hide problems. See, one of the most dangerous things about success is that it can hide weaknesses. The business is growing, the ministry is growing, revenue is increasing, the opportunities are expanding, everything looks healthy until suddenly it isn't. See, growth often exposes weaknesses that success temporarily conceal. Many organizations do not discover their problems during decline. They discover them during expansion. Because growth increases pressure. Growth increases demand. Growth also increases complexity. See, pressure reveals what preparation failed to address. You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and I thank you for joining me on this beautiful Thursday, Thrive Thursday. Keep on thriving, people. Keep on thriving. I know you're going through some things. You got some heavy burdens on your shoulder, but God woke you up today. You are able to breathe another breath. So guess what? You can thrive in victory, because guess what? The battle is already won. Jesus died so that we can be victorious. So you're not fighting for victory. You should be fighting in the posture of victory, because it's already done. It's already done. Hey, let's talk about the founder trap. See, many entrepreneurs fall into what researchers call the founder's trap. See, the founder becomes the salesperson, the marketer, the service department, operational manager, the strategist, the problem solver. And some of y'all are probably listening and laughing right now, because I'm laughing, because guess what? I've been in the founder's trap. Sometimes I find myself in that trap. But guess what? Everything cannot flow through us. And that's the founder's trap. They think everything's flow through them, has to flow through them. At first, this work, but eventually growth collides with capacity. And now every decision requires one person. Every approval requires one person. Every solution requires one person. The founder is no longer leading growth. The founder is limiting growth. The founder becomes the bottleneck. The business does not need more effort. The business needs more capacity. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.
If you're just tuned in, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Let's talk about the addiction to being needed. Yeah, we all been there. Don't lie to yourself. I don't need to be needed. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You are a gatekeeper. Everybody was once a gatekeeper. Man, I got this knowledge. I got this. They're going to have to come through me to get it. They're going to need me to get through that door. Yes, we've all been there. But if you say you haven't, hey, that's between you and God. But let's talk about that. See, this is where the conversation becomes uncomfortable. Some people don't struggle with delegation. They struggle with identity. They have become attached to being the person everyone needs. Being needed feels important. It makes you feel valuable. It makes you feel secure. But leadership is not measured by how many people need you. Leadership is measured by how many people grow because of you. And if your value disappears the moment others become capable, then your identity may be tied to control rather than stewardship. That's a hard truth, people. But it is a necessary truth. Ask yourself, am I that person who is addicted to being needed? Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise on this Thrive Thursday here on Wayvve Radio. And today's show is, Are You the Bottleneck? And see, bottleneck is not just in business. It's not just at work. It can be in your family. It can be in your community. Are you the bottleneck? Ask yourself that. And be honest with yourself. It's okay, because guess what? We cannot start the process of growth or enhancement until we are honest with ourselves to say, I am the problem. All right? But some of y'all not going to do that because, you got a certain control. You feel like you're in control. But control is not productive. See, control creates an illusion. Now, it feels productive. It may feel responsible. It may make you feel safe. You know how it's done. You know the standard. You know the process. So you keep doing it yourself. See, the problem is that control often solves today's problems while creating tomorrow's limitation. I'm going to say that again. Control often solves today's problems while creating tomorrow's limitations. See, the very thing protecting quality today may be restricting growth tomorrow. Great leaders eventually move from doing the work to building people who can do the work. Build a system, build a process so that you can put other people in play. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Bringing the sounds of heaven 24/7, Wayvve Radio.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise here on Wayvve Radio, and I thank you for joining me. And like I say every day, and I'm going to keep saying this, you could have been listening to someone else at this moment, but you decided to listen to me. And I just want to say thank you, because I can see the numbers in my YouTube channel growing. It's growing. The shows are growing. And I know this takes time. I've been doing radio for a while, but I just started focusing on the social media part, on the YouTube channels, on the podcast part, so that you can have something to go back to listen to help you grow, that you don't have to be like, oh man, what did he say on this show? What did he say? No, I solved that problem. But help me grow this. Help me build a bigger problem, a whole bunch of listeners. Okay. But let's talk about capacity. Capacity is the real issue, people. See, most growth problems are actually capacity problems. People ask, how do I grow? How do I scale? How should I scale? How do I expand? Often the better question is, what can my current capacity actually support? A small container cannot hold a large volume, people. A small system cannot support a large organization. See, a single person cannot carry an expanding vision forever. growth always demands additional capacity. So the question is whether we are creating it. And what is that it? I'm glad you asked. Capacity. Are we creating capacity? Are we creating room for growth? Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise on this Thrive Thursday, and we are talking about, are you the bottleneck? See, Solomon solved this problem early. What problem are you talking about? Hey, I'm glad you asked. Just keep listening. I'm going to get there. See, Solomon understood something many leaders learned too late. See, everything cannot depend on one person. That is why he created administrative districts. This is why he appointed leaders. He built government structures. This is why he developed systems. See, Solomon understood that multiplication requires distribution. The goal was not to make Solomon more important. The goal was to make the kingdom stronger. I'm going to say that again. The goal wasn't to make Solomon important. The goal was to make your church stronger so that it can reflect God, that people can come in and get saved. Okay, I'm going to say it again. So the goal was not to make Solomon more important. The goal was to make the kingdom stronger. A mature leader measures success by what works without them. Is your church working without you? Is your small business working without you? Is your family working without you? Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise, and I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. And I just want to say thank you for being yourself. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for believing in God. Thank you for operating in your mustard seed of faith. And I know you probably said, why he thanking us for doing that? Because I want to celebrate you, and me thanking you is celebrating you. See, sometimes we got to celebrate others. And celebrating others, we praise God and give thank you. And I'm thanking you for being obedient and trusting in the word. So that's why I'm thanking you. So let's talk about this. You can be the ceiling. See, many people pray for growth while remaining committed to habits that prevented it. That is a difficult reality. See, sometimes we become the ceiling, not because we lack talent or intelligence, not because we lack opportunity, but we refuse to evolve. The thing that got you here may be preventing you from getting there. Can I say that again? Okay, I'm glad you said I could. But the thing that got you here at this point may be preventing you from getting there where you're trying to go, your future. See, growth demands new thinking, new systems, new leadership, new levels of trust. Are you the ceiling? And if you are, stop being the ceiling. Stop being the bottleneck to your growth. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Again, if you miss any part of this show at 6:15, you can go on any platform you listen to your podcast, or you can just go straight to my YouTube channel and listen to this show entirety with minus the music, or you can listen to any other show that's on there. And I encourage you to go back and listen to these shows. Go back and read the articles. On the site, there's articles that goes with these shows. So just go back and learn and just do, take in what need to be taken in. Okay. But let's talk about multiplication requires release. Nothing multiplies while being tightly controlled. Farmers release seed. Teacher releases knowledge. Leaders release responsibility. Parents release children into maturity. Growth requires release. See, the challenge is that release feels risky. You're scary. See, yet holding on tightly often creates the very limitation we are trying to avoid. See, many people say they want growth. What they really want is growth without surrender. Growth without trust. Growth without delegation. And this one right here, growth without change. But unfortunately, that is not how multiplication works. Every season of multiplication requires a season of release. If the farmer don't release the seed, if the teacher don't release the student, if the coach don't release the athlete, if the leader don't release his responsibility, nothing multiplies, nothing grows. What you refuse to release eventually becomes limited by your capacity to hold it. This is why many organizations stop growing. The leader is trying to carry what the organization has outgrown. The leader becomes the container. The leader becomes the bottleneck. And once the container is full, growth slows down. Sometimes the next level is not asking you to do more. Sometimes the next level is asking you to let go. The next level may be asking you to get out of the way. Let somebody else do this. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about the fear behind the bottleneck. See, many bottlenecks are fueled by fear. Fear that nobody can do it correctly. This is my baby. Nobody can do it like I do it. See, fear that the quality will decline. Fear that mistakes will happen, which they will, because you will make mistakes too. But I guess it's your baby. You can make the mistakes. But fear that control will be lost. But fear disguised as leadership is still fear. Growth always requires trust, not blind trust. Develop trust, strategic trust, intentional trust. But trust nonetheless. Many people call it standards. Many people call it excellence. Many people call it protecting the vision. Yet beneath those explanations is often a deeper concern. What if they mess it up? Here's the reality, people. People will make mistakes. You make mistakes. You made a mistake. I made a mistake. I make mistakes. See, every leader develops through mistakes. The goal is not creating a mistake-free environment. The goal is creating a learning environment. And we learn through mistakes. See, growth demands room for development. And development requires permission to learn. See, the greatest threat to a vision is not that others will occasionally make mistakes. The greatest threat is when one person becomes permanently responsible for everything. Fear creates dependency. Trust creates capacity. And capacity creates growth. Let the fear go. Because your fear, again, your dependency is not creating trust. And the only thing that creates capacity is trust. And the only thing that creates growth is capacity. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about systems create freedom. And I talked about this a couple of months ago. Systems create freedom. Systems don't imprison you. They're not entrapment. See, many people believe systems remove flexibility. The opposite is often true. System creates freedom. System reduce confusion. Systems increase consistency. System preserves quality. Systems allow leaders to focus on high-level responsibilities. See, without systems, leaders become trapped in repetition. With systems, listen to what I'm saying, leaders create capacity. Think about your daily life. Think about your daily routine. See, every routine that works is a system. Every healthy habit is a system. Every successful organization operates through systems, people. The purpose of a system is not restriction. The purpose of a system is liberation. See, when decisions are documented, people move faster. When expectations are clear, people perform better. When responsibilities are defined, confusion decreases. Systems remove friction. All my mothers out there, think about it. You got a system. You got a system. You bathe the kids the night before. You get their clothes out. You feed them. You get them ready for school. You drop them out. You have a system, and you don't allow nobody to break that system. When you're going out of town, you put this whole big document together for the fathers or whoever keeping the child. This is my system. Don't break it. And that's the same with life. See, many leaders think systems make people less valuable. But the truth is, systems make people more effective. A system allows excellence to be repeated, allow growth to be sustained, allow success to survive beyond one person. That is why systems create freedom. Freedom from confusion, dependency, and becoming the bottleneck. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
You're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown. Let's talk about what stops without you. Yeah, this right here. This right here, people. See, this may be the most important question of today's show. What stops without you? What stops without you? If you disappear for 30 days, what breaks? What pauses? What collapses? Or what continues? Your answer reveals the bottleneck exists. Anything that cannot function without you is giving you valuable information. Listen to it, people. Listen to it. This is not an exercise in criticism. This is an exercise in awareness. Because many leaders do not discover their bottlenecks until a crisis exposes them. A vacation, an illness, transition, an unexpected emergency exposes them. See, suddenly everyone realized that one person has become the entire system. That is dangerous, people. Not because that person lacked talent, because no human being was designed to carry unlimited responsibility. See, healthy organizations create continuity. Healthy families create continuity. Healthy ministries, healthy leaders create continuity. The goal is not to make yourself unnecessary. The goal is to make the mission sustainable. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. Let's talk about burnout is not a badge. And I've said this before. I did a whole show on this. Our culture often celebrates exhaustion, being tired. Busy has become a status symbol. Burnout has become a badge of honor. But Exodus 18 teaches us something different. See, Jethro did not celebrate Moses' workload. He challenged it. Because exhaustion is not stewardship. Burnout is not leadership. Healthy growth requires healthy capacity. And many people wear burnout as a proof of commitment, as a proof of sacrifice, as a proof of importance. But yet, burnout often reveals something else, people. It reveals a system that is demanding more than it was designed to support. burnout is frequently a warning sign. A warning sign for what? Hey, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. A warning sign that capacity has not kept pace with responsibility. A warning sign that growth has exceeded structure. A warning sign that leadership has become concentrated in too few hands. See, Jethro looked at Moses and essentially said, "This is not sustainable, man. You got to do something else, because I'm looking at you, man. Under your eyes are just puffy. Man, you're always tired, man. You're cranky. This ain't working, bro." That's what Jethro said to his son-in-law, Moses. That may be the most important leadership lesson in this entire story, because sustainability matters. Anyone can sprint. The challenge is building something that can endure. The goal is not to survive this week. The goal is to create a structure that remains healthy for years to come. Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
If you just tuned in, this is Thrive Thursday, and you're listening to the Afternoon Praise here on Wayvve Radio. Let's talk about conductors build symphonies. See, one of my favorite leadership images is this: a conductor never plays every instrument, yet the conductor helped creates the music. He stand there with his stick. I know the stick got a special name, so please forgive me for not. Or the choir director, they're directing the voices with their hands. Some leaders are trying to play every instrument, every task, every decision, every responsibility. That is not leadership, people. Leadership is creating an environment where many people contribute to one mission. Conductors build symphonies. Soloist creates performances. The question is, which one are you building? Hey, you're listening to the Afternoon Praise. I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown.
Catch the wave. You're listening to Wayvve Radio, your home for uplifting gospel music.
If you just tuned in to the Afternoon Praise, guess what? What? My time is up. I know y'all said that too good. That joke is silly. Man, you got to be silly sometimes. My time is up. It's been great. It's been lovely, man. Thank you for joining me on this Thrive Thursday. But before I leave you, before we close out the show today, I want you to be honest. I want you to honestly evaluate one area of your life. If it's your business, if it's your ministry, if it's your family, your career, health, finances, ask yourself one question: am I the bottleneck? Not because you're lazy, no. Not because you're incapable, no. Not because you're failing, no. But because growth may be asking something new of you. Maybe growth is asking you to trust. Maybe growth is asking you to develop others. Or maybe growth is asking you to build a system, a new system. Maybe growth is asking you to release control. I know that's hard for a lot of us. Or maybe growth is asking you to evolve. But the greatest obstacle to your next level may not be outside of you. It may be your unwillingness to become the leader your next level requires. See, growth often stops where dependency begins. And sometimes the bottleneck is not the market. It's not the economy. It's not your competition. Sometimes the bottleneck is us. Hey, I'm your host, Demetrius L. Brown, and this is the Afternoon Praise, and I thank you for joining me on this Thrive Thursday. And I want you to remember this: the thing that got you here may be preventing you from getting there. Hey, I'll catch you tomorrow on Fearless Faith Friday. I'm out of here. Peace.
Stay tuned and stay blessed here on Wayvve Radio.